guys! So today I'm going to be doing kind of a funny, different sort of video, and I'm going to be talking about my least favorite book covers just out of the books that I've read. Obviously, I mean, like I said, I've read these, and some of these books I've really enjoyed, so this is by no means me like bashing on the book itself, but I feel like for readers, covers, even though there's that cliche about don't judge a book by its cover or whatever, I feel like we still do it, and it still is such an important part of the novel itself because the cover is a representation of what's inside. So when the cover kind of sucks, it can lead you to either not read the book or maybe have different opinions on the book. And for me, I know personally I'm such a big paper copy book person. I don't ever read books on like an e-reader or anything. So for me, I really like covers that look nice so that when I bring them out into the public, I'm not like almost ashamed to be reading this book because the cover is just so awful. These are of course my own opinions. You guys may agree or disagree, but I thought this would be kind of fun just to talk about some of the covers that I don't really like and I wish would be changed. In no particular order, the first one that I'm going to start with is one of my least favorite, and it's the Lux series. This cover started okay for the first 3 books. It was still very like romancy, and this is a young adult series, and the cover to me just did not depict that at all. Like, this looks like your mom's like romance book, you know, like it does not look like a young adult sort of paranormal romance, and so that was a little bit misleading. Plus the first 3 books have like a very like cliche tagline that I remember when I was reading these. My sister made so much fun of me for it because it was just like the most ridiculous thing about love or something on another. But then the series continued, and on books 4 and 5 they like completely changed and they got even worse, which is quite a feat to go from already kind of like a bad cover to something that's even worse than that. They completely changed up the characters. They got even more like typical romancy, and they were just so cringy, and I almost felt embarrassed to read these. But they're really good. I really did enjoy the series, and so I stuck through it. But if there is a book series that I think desperately needs a cover change, it would be these. Next, another one that I think desperately needs a cover change is the Clark saga. The book starts with Layla, the next book is Gabriel, and then the 3rd book is coming out I think next February, so February of 2017. You'll notice a reoccurring theme with the covers that I don't like, and it's usually people on the covers. I absolutely hate like real life model-esque people on covers. It looks so cheesy, and I don't like it at all. There's like nothing artistic about it. It's usually just very cringy, and that's exactly how I feel about these. To be honest, I don't even know why I picked these up because the cover is so bad, but I think when I did pick it up, I was kind of in the mood for like a Twilight-y sort of book, and these kind of like the description sort of match that. Just a good, you know, like paranormal teen romance, because I don't read much of those anymore, but every once in a while I like to. And it was an amazing book. I actually really like both of these stories. I think they have a strong female character, and they're just kind of fun and, you know, interesting to read. But the covers are absolutely awful and need to be changed ASAP. Another one that I'm not a huge fan of, but maybe isn't like as cringy as some of them, this is the Wrath in the Dawn. I think that this is a duology, but the first book and the second book have like almost completely different covers. The first book features yet again another person. I like that she is a woman of color, but I just don't like real people on the covers. It looks so like young and just kind of ditzy, and I just don't like it, whether it's a girl or a boy on the cover. I just don't like it. Next, I have a book that I read recently that I've seen kind of has 2 covers for it. I know that of course like country by country covers vary, but just here in the US alone I've seen 2 different covers. We have this one, which I don't like at all. Again, I just think it's just another typical person on the cover that looks super dramatic and is in this really ridiculous costume, and it just like does not work for me at all. But I think what was the first cover release of these novels, it still features a person, but it's done in such a more beautiful way. I absolutely love the dress. I love how, again, it's a person, but she's not like looking directly at the camera, so you just get this very like artistic portrait of her, and I think that that is a lot prettier than just someone like dramatically staring off into the distance. So if they did change the covers from that to the one that I don't like, I wish that they would have just kept the first one, because I think that it's so pretty, and I've tried searching for those, but if you try to order it from like Barnes & Noble or anything, you get the ugly covers, which now these covers are on the rest of the series, which I really like the series and I'm going to continue to read it, but it just kind of sucks that I think the covers just kind of changed for the worse on this one. Next is just kind of like a broad category that I hope that we can all agree with, and that is any new adult book cover. Oh my god. I hate like romance covers in general. I hate that even though I like these novels, I feel weird to read them because I just feel like they're the typical books that you're just gonna get judged so heavily for. And I am a public reader. I will read when I'm at work, I'll read when I'm at school, I just read wherever I am. And so for me, it's not like I can just enjoy this in the comfort of my own home. And even then, I don't really know how my husband would feel about me reading some of these, you know, books because the covers just look so, I don't even know. They just make me feel like I'm some like lonely, sad woman trying to find some sort of comfort in like this fictional man, and that's just like not who I am. So if we could just agree to like make romance covers and new adult covers like specifically less cringy, that would be awesome. Next is a group of books that I love so much, and again, you want to talk about covers that I just don't think represent what's inside very well at all. The Sookie Stackhouse novels. I love these. If you guys are familiar with the show True Blood, these are the books that the series is based off of, and I know that it started with kind of like these illustrated covers with these really like funky fonts on them, and as the book series progressed, in the most recent releases, they stuck with the same kind of like illustrated characters, but they changed the font, so it's like now like a sans serif font, and it still looks awful. Like the illustrated characters are literally the worst. I mean, this is like a really like a heavy kind of, you know, vampire sort of novel. Like the vampires in this book, they aren't very nice. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of sex, there's a lot of like explicit descriptions, and I think from the cover you would think that this is just like a cutesy little story. I mean, in some of the covers you literally have illustrations of like your typical Dracula vampire, which is not at all what the vampires in these novels are like. So I feel like for that reason these are just awful because they look like they need to belong like on a completely different series. And just the cutesy little animated characters, I can't do it. And then again, the first like font that they did, that weird like squiggly, I don't even know what you want to call that. Just awful, so awful. And then finally we have one that might be a little bit controversial. Some people like really like these covers, and I must say that the book that was most recently released in the series, I really do like that one because I really like the color scheme. But the Throne of Glass novels, I'm sorry. I know that they first released with a cover with a person on it, which I know Sarah J. Maas hated, and thank God those are gone because we all know how I feel about covers with people on it. But I still feel like this new kind of cover, it's just so like typical high fantasy, like kind of geeky, nerdy sort of look. I just again, I don't like it. Like the books are so dynamic, and I just feel like from the cover it looks very like World of Warcrafty to me. I remember when I was reading the series, I was really getting into it when I was in school still, and so I'd bring these books to school and everybody's like, you read that? And I mean, I'm not ashamed. I will read what I want to read, even if it's got a really cheesy, you know, romance cover on it, or, you know, some sort of like wow looking cover. I will still read it. But I just remember being like, yeah, I know, they're a little weird. I just feel like the poses of, you know, the girl that's representing Aelin, and just overall the look and like the feel of them, it just seems so like animated video gamey to me. I just don't like it. However, I will say that again, because of the color scheme on Empire Storms, I really do actually like that one. Like, I feel like that one, we got a lot of different colors, it's a lot more dynamic, I feel like it looks a little bit less cheesy for some reason. But even then, I just feel like maybe it could have been something else, especially because now in the series, like, nobody even likes Aelin anymore. But that is all I have for you guys. Again, these are just out of the books that I personally have read, so even though I think these are awful covers, I have read these books, and honestly, I think on this list, I like really like every single one of these books. So this is not at all like me bashing on the book. It's just, I wish that they might have had different covers, but you know, what can you do? Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any cringe-worthy covers that you've come across down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.